Hey, you wanna talk about empires? Sometimes a few YouTubers will band together and start a Minecraft server. Sometimes they will even make videos from it. And as far as YouTube goes, this can create something akin to the most addictive reality show out there, despite it being just a few strangers playing Minecraft together. Then there's Empires SMP. Spotting a unique premise, talented cast and a whole lot of street cred, this server has been on my radar for quite some time now. And now that Hermitcraft has literally crossed over with them, I finally have an excuse to talk about it on this channel. We'll talk about the server, the cast, and of course, the giant hole that opened into the Hermitcraft server. And I personally get to write off 40 hours of watching Minecraft Let's Plays as research. I love my job. So, without further ado, what is the Empires SMP?
A miserable little pile of secrets! But enough talk! Have at you!
Well, as we all know, SMP stands for Sovereign Monarch Players, which captures the basic premise of the server pretty well. Everyone on the server is playing regular survival Minecraft, except instead of houses and bases, they each have what they call an empire, their own state where they are the king, the emperor, or whatever title they prefer. Some of them have industry, some of them have subjects, and some are themselves the subject of public humiliation. But every single empire for sure has their own export. Some service or material they can provide to the overall community. For example, Fwip the Goblin King lives underground, so the material he will barter for with everyone else would be rocks, whereas Orion Sound lives in a tent and his primary export is rock music. It's not super enforced, but it is an important part of the server. Everyone has a role to play in the larger bartering system, and you can clearly see how everyone here is very into role-playing. So if this is just regular ordinary Minecraft, I hear you ask, why does everyone look so weird? Long story short, cosmetics. As I just said, everyone here is playing a role to the varying degree of intensity. If Whip the Goblin King has regular Minecraft villagers, it's perfectly fine, but if Whip the Goblin King has his Minecraft villagers look like goblins who he's a king of, that makes the series quite a bit more enjoyable. Therefore, some empires might have custom textures and models applied to their personal belongings, subjects or even mounts. But these models don't actually change anything within the game, not even hitboxes. So, Whip's tiny villagers are in reality 2 blocks tall, just like any regular one. Technically, these are mods that allow them to do that. However, the actual game mechanics and game logic don't actually change. It's more akin to retexturing a pumpkin with a resource pack, except the rest of the players will also see it and get really jealous. All this to say that if you're intimidated by the unfamiliar visuals, don't be. This is the regular Minecraft you know and love, just with a little bit more creativity from the people playing it. And really, it's the people playing it that make this series so enjoyable. So let's meet the cast.
Hey!
Hello.
We're back!
Hello.
Overall, there are 13 members and 13 empires on the server, all of varying degree of in-depth with their roleplaying. There are some, like Mythical Sausage, who are pretty relaxed in keeping in character, but will still deny the existence of YouTube when confronted. On the other side of the spectrum, there's Solidarity, who will freeze in place if you scream Andy is coming. Okay, not actually, I'm just being mean. In reality, people just call him a toy because he looks like Woody from the Toy Story. They also call him Jimmy, Timmy, and I personally prefer to call him a class traitor. Having found a sheriff hat in one of the Badlands abandoned mineshafts, he really did declare himself the law and laid down a few bills for the rest of his servermates to follow. Which they do not.
After a thorough investigation of Tumbletown, you are breaking 3 of the 5 laws. Disrespecting the sheriff yourself. You do better, babes. Release the villager of Sanctuary from their cage. No, that's... Sausage did that. I didn't even do that. Sausage did that.
His empire looks like the classic western town, surrounded by the Toy Story wallpaper, thanks to some pranks. He exports primarily gunpowder and of course terracotta. Though Jimmy is not the one with the big iron on his hip after all. Big iron is very much False Symmetry's prerogative. Much into metal and the art of enchanting books, False is a steampunk adventurer and also possibly time traveler. It's not quite clear, but there wouldn't be any other way to explain the mysterious signs all around her base that she doesn't even remember placing.
Over here, placing it all. I appreciate it very, very much. What is this very ominous looking a body outside? But, you know, kind of suits me.
Huh. Is that why I woke up naked that one time? Also, Hermitcraft's false symmetry seems aware of her existence, though I'm afraid the meeting could cause a catastrophic time paradox. After all, two falses don't necessarily make a right.
Time is ticking. It's ticking away. Why are we colliding? It's ticking away. I don't want to go back. I don't know.
You won't be seeing doubles with Gemini Tay. She canonically is just the same person as on Hermitcraft, just playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I'll be the first to admit, though, I'm not quite sure what being a princess actually entails.
Her City of Dawn is big into honey production, so she is at least a bee royalty for sure. Though there is not much of a difference between playing pretend to be an elven princess in Minecraft and actually being her in Minecraft. Besides, anything is possible when you shout "lore" loud enough. That's the motto Joel Smallish Bean takes since the day he jumped into a fountain and emerged an Olympian god? Complete with the chiseled abs and 11 feet tall. So them beans, huh? Got significantly bigger. People on this server seriously can't have their names and branding stay consistent. What is consistent with his character is that he lives on a Greek-style floating island in the sky, from whence he casts lightning rods and gold onto the rest of the rulers.
Yes, that's right. It's me, the humble, tall, sexy, and handsome god. Are you subscribed?
The ancient myths sure did a number on Scott's Major. Scott S. Major? Hold on, let me check his YouTube page. Ah, okay. So, Dang That Salon name has been hit with a curse. As an action archaeologist, he once discovered an ancient magical skull. It stole one of his eyes, but luckily, a wizard traded Scott a new one. Now magical objects glow purple in his vision. Which is pretty inconvenient because he's the one in charge of distributing paints around the server. It's gonna be quite hard to distinguish color when people like Shelby over here should just be permanently glowing purple in his vision.
Woo! I love purple.
Yeah.
Cool.
It matches you.
Shelby is Shovel's character, and she is a witch. She just doesn't have the diploma to prove it. The Witches Academy sent her away to the swamps of Evermoor, where the mangrove are magic and the fog eats people. Nevertheless, she's been able to make a life for herself, and now sells potions and medicinal mud blocks to the rest of the server.
Because the fog in the Evermore is so thick. If there's things in there and it goes really deep. Are you one of the spirits of the forest? I love your hat.
There is a second magical skull tormenting people, a villain skeleton called Skeletron, who is forever locked in conflict with the pirate legend Joey Graceffa. Unfortunately for him, Joey has the best hat ever, and also an infinite supply of gunpowder for his flintlock pistol.
I own gunpowder.
Oh, do you? And funny because the last 10 times I've come to buy gunpowder, there's been 0 in your shop.
But, right, I'll hold my hands up and I'll tell you, it's hard.
The fabled terror of the sea is matched only by the terror of the land. Catherine Elizabeth. She is not a land pirate. She is rather a magical princess monster slayer, which should remind you that magical doesn't necessarily mean like good magic.
I can't forget my battle outfit. 1 second.
The Kingdom of Glimmerglove is under a curse, but at the very least they get a good deal on monster parts as she swings her giant axe around. The Sanctuary Empire, in the meantime, is forever cursed with mythical sausage. His powers are tied into the Sanctuary Villa and the previous generations of sausage from Empire Season 1 and Afterlife SMP. As they say, my home is my fortress, in this case also my health bar. Flip's home is an actual fortress. As mentioned, his character for the season is the King of Goblins living in the caves under the server. What I haven't mentioned is that the Gobland also leads into an abandoned ancient city, that the goblins are slowly gentrifying away from the wardens. I have also not mentioned the time he kept Oren Sound in cage for several weeks. Oren Sound, or Ollie, is a bard traveling the server, blessing every passerby with the gift of music. Not for too long, mind you. Most of the season he has spent captured in one way or another. He actually was sent to the SMP way before everyone else and had a chance to speedrun the entire game, kill a dragon, and promptly get stuck on the credits screen for several months. So yeah, absolute king behavior. Barges onto your server, kills the dragon, refuses to elaborate, leaves. Only recently finally free, he has already once again played an instrumental part in the story of the Rift to Hermitcraft. The instrument he played was a lute. Luckily, any story on the server is that much easier to keep track of with Pixlriffs the archaeologist on staff, which both our show and the Empire server have now that I think about it. Throughout the Empire's many remnants of the past are scattered, hidden and forgotten, and Pixlriffs has dedicated his time to discovering every single one, then cataloging it nicely in his museum. It's how he comes across the extinct subspecies of chocobo and successfully resurrects it to use as a mount.
Hey, wouldn't it be really funny if, because you're bringing this extinct empire back from the past, what if we had a mount that did the same thing? What if my horse was actually a dodo?
Really, it helps to have someone make sense of the place when there's sentient foxes roaming the streets one kingdom over. In LD Shadow Lady's Critter City, frogs and foxes are seen as citizens, and they walk around on their hind legs and do everything a person would. But I'll let you in on a secret. Lizzie, her character, is not actually human either. Lizzie is a sentient cat wearing LD Shadow Lady's head as a disguise.
Once upon a time, my jungle cat ancestors were ruled by a human. They were trapped in cages and forced to wear silly outfits. I don't want that to happen to me. So, to fit in around here with the other rulers, I disguise myself as one of them.
So what we have here is LD Shadow Lady, the person pretending to be Lizzie the cat, pretending to be LD Shadow Lady, the player. No wonder Oli spent ages on these credits. The casting for this is insane. Now, these are all Empire rulers, but believe it or not, it's not all the people on the server. At the time of recording this video, there's extra 13 players roaming around the world, having come through the dimensional rift connecting Empire server to the Hermitcraft server. So let's talk about those unfortunate souls and how they got here. Hold on, I have something for this.
This week on Hermitcraft.
I just have an app on my phone that makes him say that. It started when Green discovered a crack in reality under his base on Hermitcraft. Shortly after, a similar hole formed in a hill across from spawn on Empires. No one paid any attention at first until explosions were heard in the area.
Toying with my heart. What? Bridge? If I've learned anything being underground in the Goblin Cavern, it's don't dig where you're not supposed to be digging.
Which of course only happened because much later, Green sent a lit TNT block into the rift. And it did pass, just significantly time warped. The Empires have sent a few things as well. For example, if Whip deploys one of his battle boars into the rift, and it did actually show up in Green's base, but just as a regular Minecraft pig. Lizzie sent one of her sentient foxes, but it also only came out as a regular fox. Pixlriffs in turn sent a baker's dozen of eggs through, but all that did is feed the Lizzie's fox. Turns out dimension hopping warps whatever is traveling through. We don't have a pretty clear example of exactly how much, because eventually Green decided to finally try diplomacy and sent in a note saying who this. On the Empire side, it came out right in time for the festival dedicated to the brave heroes of the Rift, and also to Oli owing a bunch of money to the Goblin King. Unsure what to reply, the rulers of the land decided to reply with the only thing they all know to be true for certain.
What are you, Rift? What are you? The
Wait,
note
send
is
something back.
Jimmy is in fact a toy.
No.
Yes, send that through. Definitely.
But even that got scrambled in the connection and came out as absolute gibberish. It's like Empires SMP is in a perpetual state of driving through a tunnel. But now that communication has been established, Hermitcraft's Grumbot has sent in 13 of their bravest hermits to explore the rift, reach Empires and return victorious. Or maybe not return at all, since as soon as the group went through, they got scattered across the land in random places, and also the rift itself shut down on either end. Their misadventures we will be tracking for the next few weeks in our weekly show Hermitcraft Recap, so subscribe if you want to see any of that, leave a like if you found any of this video helpful, and I'll see you this Sunday. My name has been SloyXP, thank you to Pixlriffs for helping with the script, to be continued, have a good one, bye bye.